Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about some data I've collected and my thoughts on my Boston training to date. So far I've completed 8 weeks of training. I'm currently averaging over 46 miles per week and 2 to 3 sessions of strength and mobility work, which I'll talk about more a little bit later. The first couple of weeks, when comparing to my May 2024 marathon block, my VO2 max, which was around 54, 56, has increased by 3 to 4 units. In fact, over the last year, this has increased from approximately 54 or 55 all the way up to a high of 64 in early February. Additionally, as I continue to gain fitness into the second month of training, I'm able to work increasingly harder than before, whereas back in May and June in my marathon block then, my load was much higher, closer to averaging around the 900s, and now we're closer in the 7 and 600 range. This is about a 25% reduction at the same point in time in my training, which is somewhat due to the cooler temperatures, I'm sure, but definitely improved fitness as well. For example, despite logging 55 miles a couple of weeks ago, my load had been decreasing during that time frame for the entire week. I'd also like to talk about my average run cadence. From October 2024 through current, typically averaging around 160 steps per minute through that time frame, as you see in these 4-week increments. However, starting in February of 2025, I made some slight changes to my efficiency and my run mechanics, as well as the previously mentioned incorporations of strength training and corrective exercises, while also pairing some different modalities in terms of foam rolling and static stretching that have helped increase this run cadence recently over the last month period, showing from an average of 160 to about 165. This is a small sample size, but as you can see here too, there's several more dots that are in the green than are in the orange, so we are trending towards the right direction. Based on this small amount of data, as of February 2nd, my average run cadence has increased by 3 steps per minute, which is an increase of about 4 meters per minute based on my stride length, which would save me approximately 50 meters or 10 seconds over my current 5K pace, or for a half marathon, given my current pace, about 300 meters or over a minute. And most importantly, for the marathon, at my current pace that I want to hit for Boston, I would cover, in the same amount of time, I would cover it in 640 meters less with the same amount of time. This is a savings of about 2.5 minutes, which is very, very significant and promising. Hopefully that trend will continue. As I mentioned, since incorporating foam rolling immediately into dynamic or static stretching, I'm noticing improved flexibility and lengthening of both my calf and hamstring muscles. This has led to some reduced fatigue and tightness and allowing me to push harder in workouts and races. Specifically, my recent half marathon. I raced this in week 7 of my training program to great success. My A goal was 75 minutes, which I missed by about 2 minutes given this time, but I nailed my B goal of 77 to 78 minutes and my C goal of a sub 80 half marathon. This includes a 5+ minute PR. This is of note time adjusted for the extra distance that was covered. It was admitted by the race director that this race was about 0.4 meters long. So this is adjusted based off the current pace, but even still, my official time was sub 80. Based on my half marathon result, my updated training times dropped by an average of 20 to 30 seconds and are right on track for the Boston Marathon goal pace of 2 hours and 40 minutes. Furthermore, my strengths are consistently being able to hold that sub 6 minute pace, as evidenced here, over at least 13 plus miles, and my downhill running continues to remain a strength. However, my uphill power and speed seems to be a bit behind. I struggled on some of the hills in these later miles, including some hamstring tightness, which I'm continuing to work on and making sure that I'm implementing that foam rolling and stretching routine diligently to keep that at bay while continuing to perform the strength training for the glutes and the hamstrings so that they perform optimally come race day. The week after the half marathon, I also had a 3 workout week, which included some hard tempo intervals, 4 times a mile at 5:30 pace, and to 4 times 400 at sub 80-second or 5:20 pace during a big snowstorm and sub 20-degree weather. Additionally, later in that week, I did another round of 3 times 3 mile repeats, and I dropped 10 seconds off my average pace for those from last month.